is Bitcoin Cash, the real Bitcoin. Have you been up on that stuff yet?
Not Bitcoin Cash. Like today, when I was reading, I read one is like, is Bitcoin beaten? New cryptocurrency Ripple surpasses Bitcoin in meteoric value increase.
Yeah.
There was that. Then there was like, apparently there's a huge warning going on right now that like there's a huge risk of hackers at this moment. Um, there was a cryptocurrency exchange replaced with a fake site that was stealing people's stuff. Um, there was the exchange is called Ether Delta.
Yeah,
And
yeah, Ether Delta.
yeah, they had to suspend its services literally because someone replaced it with a fake site and was like it. If you go to their site, you're being redirected somewhere else, and customers' wallets were literally just getting jacked and being emptied out. So they were like, "Please don't go to our site anymore." Other thing I saw today, Goldman Sachs is setting up a cryptocurrency trading desk. So
Wait, so let's go back to the Ether Delta hack. So this is what I think a lot of people don't understand about this is that it's not the blockchain that's not secure. This is where they're getting confused. The layers that are built on it, like the websites, those still have the same level of hackability as they ever did. The blockchain's fine, and I think that's where I even got confused initially, where I was like, "Well, geez, this blockchain, like, how did it get hacked?" It's like it didn't. It's all the stuff around the blockchain that got hacked. You know, people actually not protecting their private keys. Website interfaces, and then just having dummy sites that aren't actually the right site. So this is a big problem, man. Like everyone, and I think this is what's keeping a lot of the adoption away from where it could be right now is just people are just scared because they don't understand the difference.
no, I agree. And like the number one misconception that like you were saying is the blockchain isn't being broken. They aren't taking blocks out. It's
Yeah.
essentially being compared to like someone just stole your whole wallet, right? Like it's not like, oh, they're slowly like siphoning off like $20 at a time out of your bank account. This is like they literally just picked your pocket, they took your wallet, and whatever was in it is now essentially gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's where it comes down to like, do you know what you're getting into? Like there's it's a thing like people are just doing it for the sake of like this is the hot thing, this is the trend.
Mhm.
It's not being 100% aware of what the technology is and how it works that where people get tripped up.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. At the same time, I still feel like this whole industry is so hyper technical right now. Like everyone's treating like to me, it's like this. I don't need to know how a Ferrari works to drive a Ferrari
Yeah,
to a
no.
certain extent, right? And and I think that's also holding back some adoption is because people are looking at this going, well, it's only for hackers, it's only for people who can code, it's only for people with a financial background, it's only for like high risk investors, and it's like, yeah, so is the stock market, and you never cared how it worked. You know, you weren't looking into like options trading and all of these different ways of measuring volatility. You weren't looking at all that stuff. You didn't care about understanding it. You just said to your banker, yes, I want to buy this stock and I just want to put it in this portfolio. And I think there just hasn't been enough products made around this yet, and this is where the whole the ETFs that are going to come about, but the futures trading that's been happening is sort of the first step of those products being built for people. So I wanted to ask you about that. What do you think about when you can buy Bitcoin directly? Why would you want to buy a future or some sort of financial product that's layered on top of it where it's all settled in cash, so you never actually own any Bitcoin? Why do you think that would be a good thing?
Like I guess to go back on like one point you're saying like you don't need to know how a Ferrari is made to drive that Ferrari.
Hmm.
But at the same time, like you have to look at it like a Ferrari is a supercar. It's
Hmm.
not as easy as to drive as a regular car. And even when you buy it, they suggest that you do take driving lessons beforehand because otherwise you always hear those stories that like dude drives Ferrari off lot wraps it into a poll in like a day or two.
Yeah.
Super different, and it's a lot different to drive. It's a lot different to handle. It's a lot more power in a sense. And like, yeah, you don't like need to know how a Ferrari is built. It's you still need to have some type of handle on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that like you do need to have some type of knowledge or like a feel for it before you can just jump straight in.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, because when I first started like actually, buying cryptocurrencies and then trying to put it into my wallet, there was a part of me that was pretty scared, right? Like you could literally send it to the wrong place and it's gone forever. And so I agree with you. Yeah, maybe we are still in like the licensing stage where people are just getting the basics down of driving, and then they can like handle it after that, because in a lot of ways it's giving people so much power over their money, which is what they wanted. But generally people aren't ready for that responsibility. No one has ever had to be their own bank before, right? Like, cold storage of their Bitcoin and everything. And so this is a really, big learning curve for people. And I'll tell you what, even with like our development background, I was even kind of intimidated a little bit, like, man, like I got all these Chrome extensions that I got to install, and that I got to learn about all these private keys and all the different wallets. And now, like, even just today, I read an article about Trezor um, having some glitch in it where it actually reveals your private key. So I'm just like, man, this was like the top recommended hard wallet, and even they're having some issues with it. And so it's kind of like nothing safe. And so I can see why people's natural inclination is to kind of hold off and wait until someone figures all this crap out.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Like, I guess that's just something like to look into. I don't know. For me as like a person, before I do anything, I need to have some sort of grasp on something.
Mm-hmm.
Don't like to jump in super blind.
Yeah, it's probably a good move, man. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's my favorite quote from Shooter. Mark Wahlberg. That was a good movie.
In terms of like the futures and stuff, I think it was bound to happen just because why not? If like everything else is moving, like is already sold in futures, then it was, I guess, logically a next step for where Bitcoin was going to go, just because I don't know, you have an agreed upon price, I guess, that's set in the future
Mm-hmm.
to set this on trade. So it kind of brings some type of, it reduces the volatility of it because it's not like, without that, like, say you and me agree to buy something. It was like that thing we were talking about the other day, right? Like, I'm like, hey, can I get a loan from you and I'll pay you in Bitcoin or whatever. It's not like today we I give you this much and then tomorrow or whatever that price is, and I've essentially overpaid.
Yeah.
So I guess it could stop something like that from happening.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, what are you really going to buy with it at the same
Mm-hmm.
time? And who's going to flip it?
Volatility right now, it's so interesting because like that's part of, I think, the secret to the madness that there is out there right now. People are just making crazy returns on such a small amount of cash. So it's not technically that risky. Even though you could lose $1,000, that thousand could also turn into 10,000, right?
Yeah.
And so that volatility, I was reading an article today about how um, the volatility of the stock market is starting to be siphoned off into the cryptocurrency space. And so that's kind of what makes it exciting, because it's like gambling or anything else where there's big returns if you take the risk. And I think that's what's drawing a lot of people to it, because, for the last 10, 20 years, and I know this from just like traditional investing, man, you look at all of these prospectus documents about different investment options, and like literally it's just been falling over time. And now you'll be lucky to get 5 to 8% a year. And like, I'll give you an example. I invested in some Ethereum a couple of days ago, and within 12 hours, it went up by $12,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, frick, and that's I like that. And so I can handle the ups and downs because I know it's, you have to trade it at that level. Like you actually have to sell out. However, that's why I'm not really into stocks right now, because I'm like, man, there's the action, the energy, it's all flowing into crypto space, which leads to the next article that you referenced, how Goldman Sachs making a trading desk. Dude, that's like, they were the ones who were crapping all over this to begin with.
It's true, but at the same time, like having these kind of things, it gives you like the thing is there's no regulation behind crypto and there's nothing. And then with companies like Goldman Sachs and stuff like that coming in and doing stuff like that, it gives it some type of regulation, and it will encourage more investors to trade digital currencies because it kind of brings you into mainstream finance. And just having that standardized exchange there, it gives people a sense of safety, I guess.
Yeah.
Where they're more willing to now do business along crypto or like digital exchange.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a really good point. And just on that, maybe this is the conspiracy theorist inside of me. I was thinking about it, and a lot of people who theorize about what all this is, was this created by the government, in order to get people used to digital currencies so that at one point they can just outlaw everything else and then implement their version of a world currency and have control. Do you think there's any merit to like conspiracies like that, or do you think this is really, a movement by the people who may potentially undermine the banks and those in power?
To be honest, man, like conspiracies exist for a reason. Like it was just recently in the news that the US was spending I don't know how many millions of dollars trying to track aliens or something. They finally admitted it.
Dude, I didn't see that.
You didn't?
No,
No,
man.
they
But
actually
that
admitted
but that
that.
conspiracy theory we were just talking about with Apple, we
Yeah,
were right, bro.
but the thing at the same time, like I guess everything has some type of merit to it. Like there has to be some evidence that leads you that way. Um, like it can't just be everybody with a tinfoil hat just chilling in their basement. Like they must have saw something that led them to believe something, and then people jump on board. But
Yeah.
at the same time, will this ever replace cold hard cash? And I don't know, because just imagine how well, not even imagine, just look at how difficult it is for countries to agree on small stuff as a collective around the world. Like there are certain things where like it's just a small peacekeeping mission or whatever. One company's like country will be like, that's not of any use, while the other ones are jumping on board. So
Right.
how hard is it going to be to get everyone to go? Will you ever lose the need for actual cash? I don't think so, mostly because one, developing countries, people don't have access to stuff like this. So even the small amount of money that they have,
Yeah.
how do you expect them to convert it to digital? And then how do you expect them to have access to that on a day-to-day basis? You can even apply that to first world countries like ourselves. Say you're homeless, most of them, they only deal in cash. So now if you're on the street and you're asking for $5 for a coffee or whatever, how are you gonna be like, yo, hold on, bro, like let me transfer this to your e-wallet, like shit's not gonna happen.
Got the homeless with iPhone.
No, exactly, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they still got flip phones and stuff. They're pay as you go. So like how are you gonna do that and make that happen? Super hard. I don't, even me personally as a person, I don't like direct deposit. For some reason, I love going to that bank and cashing that check. It's a nice feeling for me. But that's separate, but like what I'm like, crypto and digital currency right now is a very elite status thing. Like it's like middle class, upper middle, and then up.
Yeah.
Um, how
That's
do we?
what's always kind of confused me about it, because on the one hand, this is like a movement for the people, right? This is like supposed to bank the unbanked and include people in the economy. And the truth is, it hasn't yet, right? Like 40% of all the people who own Bitcoin are just like rich people. And then the other people that own it, you know, I would say they'd have to be in the middle class to some extent, unless they're willing to like sell their house for this stuff. And so it hasn't really included everyone, which is why it kind of always made me wonder, like, how does Bitcoin maximalists, these people that are like, oh, Bitcoin's it, Bitcoin's everything, it's going to go up to $1 million. Now they're just like doing it for greed. They're not even thinking about anyone else. And again, human nature just takes over once again. And now it's all about survival and making sure that you protect what you built. Like, even look at right now, look at the prices. This is hilarious. So Bitcoin was at about 20,000 just like last week. Now it's down to 13. It's in the trading in the 13s against the US dollar. And so when you look at stuff like that, I and the origin of it and the intention behind it, personally, I don't actually think it's actually accomplished very much. All it's done is spooked some banks, spooked some governments, led to more regulation and speculation, gotten people excited, but I still see broke people all the time and they still don't have anything. So what do you think about the state of the union right now when it comes to cryptocurrencies and the intention to actually help include more people and take power away from those who have a lot of
Well, how are
money?
you gonna include someone say like you were saying, if it costs 20,000 for one coin, that's some like I'm not gonna say some, that's a lot of people's that's a year's salary, that's a year's worth of work for one coin.
Mm-hmm.
And to have a way, how do you convince someone that you spent a year working and you get one coin?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's super hard to convince someone to make that switch
Right.
because it's so early and it's it's just basic human nature. Like we're saying, if there's no safety net, how do you convince someone to risk a year's worth of work and have the potential to lose it, like today on Ether Delta, when you just logged in and just based off that it redirected you and they stole your stuff. So
Yeah, that's
that's
true, man. It's just so crazy, and at the same time, it's super exciting because I know there's potential there. Um, Definitely the rundown of what's going on right now. I would say the hottest topic is just this whole controversy between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, and so probably the next time we go live, let's talk about that, because we're at about $500 billion of market cap right now. Bitcoin's trading around the 13 low 1400 14,000s. And just knowing that as we hit Christmas, as we hit New Year's, this is going to be on the tip of everyone's tongue, man. Everybody's going to be talking about this. Dude, I just showed up and already I've been getting questions about it. And people are like, how can I buy shares in Bitcoin? It's like, dude, it ain't a company. It's like, it's not like that. You know, this whole thing is just different. Have you, in your world, like, are you hearing the same kinds of things from people? Are they asking you those same kind of questions?
yeah, there's a lot of questions like that, but like it's when you hear questions like that, you realize you those people are the ones that shouldn't be getting into it, because a question that's asked similar to like how do you buy shares, it's like it's not shares. This is essentially like buying currency. You're pretty much asking me like, how do I convert a Canadian dollar into an American kind of thing? Like,
Yeah.
and that's where I'm saying like the lack of research and the lack of knowledge is it's kind of scary that like how many people are willing to just make the jump like that,
Yeah.
but at the same time don't have the like if you have a certain amount that you're willing to lose, it's fine. But like I was telling you the other day, where that dude literally sold his house just to take all that money, buy computers to mine and sell and stuff like that. It's a risky move, man. Like you're gonna stop working. You've moved into a small apartment. You have small kids.
I'd say looking back, it was a definitely a ballsy, risky move to make. But if he really did it a year ago,
Nah, he literally just did it like a few
nah,
months.
like right now, that's crazy. Like I wouldn't advise anybody to do something like that right now because right now it's just crazy. Like right now, this has just gotten out of hand, and the prices just spiked, and now they're just tanking. So yeah, if you got in a year ago, you're probably laughing at all this volatility, going, "Hey, whatever. I bought it at $100. Like even if it tanked to $200, you're still up 100%." So anyway, man, this is what we're going to be talking about. This is what the ICO coup is all about. You know, we're going to be trying to question a lot of the stuff that's out there, and yeah, man, so I appreciate the time. So I'm gonna shut this off, but I want to talk with you a little bit more offline,
Okay.
and then we'll plan out the next time we get together. Okay?
Yeah, sounds good, man.
All right. Peace.